G'day viewers, welcome to Wimbletrain. Today's video is going to be about a previous video I did using latching relays and Kato switches to drive LEDs to show the indication of Kato turnouts. Now if you haven't seen the original video, I'll put a link in the description, and hopefully in the top right hand corner you can click and watch that video. So this is the test setup I had to test all the relays that I'd purchased to try. So I ended up making a little board where I could plug the relay in, and you can see the relay in the middle there, and this had like some normal LEDs and some bipolar LEDs on it, some resistors and diodes, and I just wired up as needed for each of the latching relays. So I'll pull all the wires off in a minute and show you that. It just made it easier to test them all. So we can see the two LEDs there, the bipolar LEDs, and if I switch the switch here, there's a momentary toggle, so it bounces back to the center position. The green and red switch over. Now we've got the green at the bottom, so if I disconnect the power, put it back in, the green's still on the bottom, and if I switch that so that the green LED's at the top now and pull the power again, when I come back, plug it in, the green's still at the top, so those LEDs will always stay in the position that you left it in before you turn the power off. So the reason for this video was a lot of viewers out there were asking where they can get the latching relay I used in the original video, the FRT3, and it's finding it hard to purchase this relay. I'm not sure whether I can still get it here in Australia, but I went online and had a look around, and then I remembered a place I've used before called RS Components. They operate in many countries, so you should be able to access their site and purchase these latching relays. Now what I ended up doing was I purchased 6 of these relays in different pinouts and setups, and we'll go through all the diagrams I've drawn up and tested in a minute. But I basically got 2 from Panasonic brand, 2 Omron brand, and 2 TE Connectivity brand. Now these were roughly, I sort of tried to pick sort of the cheaper ones. These were between 5 and 10 Australian dollars, which is I think about 3 to 6 US dollar, 3 to 6 euros, or 250 to 5 British pounds. And the postage on that for me was 12 Australian dollars, which is roughly 8 US dollars, and 7 euros or 6 British pounds. So not too expensive, because I know the initial FRT I bought was over the $10 mark. It was about $11 or something like that, so that's quite good. So then what I did is I built this little test board here. I'll bring it up close so I could easily test all the 6 relays rather than just trying to solder it up. So I've just soldered some pins on here, and the relays plug in here. Now I'll speak about the pinouts, the relay in a minute, but anyway, I just had all these inputs, some bipolar LEDs, some normal LEDs in there, and some resistors and a couple of diodes. So that just made the whole thing a lot easier to test with. Now if we have a look at the different relays, they are all pretty much different size in terms of the pinouts can be different. Like for example, if I look at the test board here, hopefully you can see that, See, I've got 3 rows of pins there because some of them will fit in the inner 2 connections, whereas some are a bit wider, so that one fits on the, I don't know whether you can see that there. This one will fit on the outside pins. So the pins can be different widths. So if you're going to do something like this on a circuit board, or just this breadboard, you can buy these I think they're 0.1 inch spaced IC socket. They come in strips. You can buy them in strips, not too expensive. So then you just solder that into the board. Now if you end up going with the bigger ones like this, this is one of the Omron ones. This one will actually fit in a standard IC socket. So if you have any issues with it, you can just pull it out and leave that socket soldered onto the board, or wherever you want to solder that to, and that way you can just take those in and out if you're having issues when you're testing. Now, yeah, they're all a bit different. Some are smaller than others. So that's one thing. If you're going to solder onto a board or whatever, that's something to consider. So the one I mentioned, the Omron, is the G6AU-274P-ST-US. That one just fits in a standard 16-pin IC socket. So if you want to go that way, you can just buy a 16-pin IC socket and that'll fit in there quite nicely. It's a similar thing with the FRT, was the same. That'll fit in a standard IC socket as well. Whereas all the other ones, they're a bit narrower, sort of in terms of across that way. If I compare the two, you can see. Bring that up, hopefully some light there. Yeah. So I'll go through all the different diagrams I drew up for these, and it's quite a bit of work doing all these. So we'll start with the FRT3. If you watched the previous video, you would have seen this before. So that's the connections for the relay, and then this is the connections for the standard LEDs. Now I'm hoping to post all these diagrams on a web page, but that'll be coming soon, so just hold out for that. And then that's the setup for the bipolar or bicolor LEDs, all the wiring. And then we'll move on to the new ones I've purchased. So this is the Panasonic TX2-LT-12V. Now you'll notice the pinouts are different to the FRT3. Like all the connections, I say the same but to different pins. So that's the only difference really. So that's the connection for the standard LEDs. And then for the bipolar LEDs, a bit more wiring there. And then we come next to the other Panasonic TQ2-L2-12V. Again, different pinouts for the set and reset, you can see there. So that's the standard LED setup. And just note, I've written in there the relays. It's the top view of the relay, and it's the same for all of them. And that's the connections for the bipolar LEDs. So we move on now to the Omron relays. And I've put a picture in there, and you can see on the photo of the actual relay, I've put where pin 1 and 8 are. And again, now this one's a bit different because it only has a set and reset on one set of pins. The previous ones have had separate set and reset connections. So this one, the wiring is a lot simpler. So if you wanted to go down this path, it's better in terms of less wiring, and you don't need to use the diodes. So that's the wiring diagram for the standard LEDs. And then the bipolar LEDs there. So then the next one's another Omron G6AU-274P-ST-US. Again, that's similar to the previous one, but the pin numbers might be a bit different if we go back. Yeah, the pin numbers are different, but basically the same setup, a single set reset set of pins. So no diodes needed for this one as well. So that's the standard LED setup there. And then the bipolar, bicolor LEDs, whatever you want to call them. So I've put a little thing in the corner too there on how the LEDs pin out is, and just make sure you pay attention to how you put those in the circuit when you connect it. So I think there's two more, the TE connectivity ones. This is the 23079-C1103. Again, this one has a single set reset set of pins. So again, we don't need the diodes. A lot simpler wiring, and that's for the standard LEDs. And then the bipolar LEDs. Wiring is shown there. Then the last one's another TE connectivity, the 23079-B1203. And this is different again because it has two sets of set reset pins. So you can either use set for one and reset for the other, or you just use set reset on the one set of pins, which I'll show in the next diagram. I'm just using the one of the set reset pins, and that's the standard LED setup. And like I said, I've tested all these. This is my little test board and confirmed that all this wiring is correct and all working as it should be. And then the last diagram there is the for the bipolar relays. Not bipolar relays, bipolar LEDs for that relay. Okay, so that's all the wiring diagrams. So hopefully you'll be able to order, one or more of those in wherever you're from, wherever country you're in. Hopefully you'll have access to RS components. So thanks to all those people who asked the question on where to get the FRT, and I couldn't really answer that question. So hopefully this has answered that, and you've got some more options to go to. This is John from Wimbletrain saying thanks for watching, thanks for all your comments, and we'll see you next time. Bye for now.